Alrighty, so our next stop on our CAD journey here is with this practice 5. And again, the reason why we keep going through all these different drawings like this is just to, really start getting us in the habit of interpreting drawings. It's one of those things where practice makes perfect. The more you do it, easier it gets. So the part we're going to be making today is this one here. It's called Practice 5. I'm going to leave this image up on the screen now for a little bit. That way, if you want to try to just attempt this part on your own without any guidance, you've got the chance to do so. So this would be a good time. If you wanted to try to attempt this on your own, you could pause the video right here, right, and then just start working. So maybe you've taken advantage of that. It's all right if you haven't. I'm going to start breaking this down and telling you how I'm going to go about making it. So again, we've got our 3 standard views here. We've got our front view, our top view, our end view. And then we've got our 4th view over here, which is our isometric view. One thing I want to make a specific note of now before we get started. Right here, we've got this measurement. This is 3 times R10. So in a previous video, I showed you folks how to use the fillet tool, and fillets are often abbreviated in drawings, just like you see here like this, okay? So the 3x, that's 3 times, that's telling me how many fillets on this part. And then this R10 is telling me a radius of 10. So those 3 fillets that are on this part have a radius of 10. And I can count them. This is 1 fillet. This is 2 fillets, and this is our 3rd fillet right here, okay? So all 3 of those have the same radius, and that is 10. And that's going to help us as we progress through this thing. Now, this part, it's kind of interesting in shape, and I had a little bit of a hard time. It took me a moment. I couldn't immediately look at this and figure out where I wanted to start. It really took me a moment to figure out how the heck I was going to go about making this. And eventually what I decided on is I decided on this thing that left me with 4 extrusions here, okay? So my first extrusion was to create the base plate right there. Let me see if I can hide these. Let's try hiding these. Let's see, suppress. And let's try and suppress and suppress. So let's see if we can break it down like this. So the first thing I did was I created that base plate, okay? Which, if I look at the drawing, I basically created this entire thing. You could imagine that these little rectangles aren't here. So I created that little like base plate, and I used that as my foundation to build everything off of. So after I made that, I decided, let me unsuppress this. I decided to then extrude up that chunk of material. I then, after I extruded that up, I then cut off the piece I didn't need all at once. And then after I did that, I then cut that slope into the side of the part. And then the last thing I did was I came in and I filleted that corner to be the right size. So that's just an overview of what I did. Let's actually do that now in practice. So again, I'm going to name this my last name, Practice 5, because that's the name of the document we're working on. After I create it, remember the most important thing to do is to identify what units you're working in. So we know, again, looking at this drawing, there's no decimals. And so usually if there's no decimals, that means you're probably working in millimeters. Also, typically if this was done up correctly, you'd have a title block down here on the bottom, and it would tell you everything else you needed to know, like what units and who made it, and yada, yada, yada. But we're not there yet, right? And this is just supposed to be a practice. So This is in millimeters. Okay, so first thing we got to do is make sure our document's set to millimeters. Again, you do so by going up to this document menu. We go to workspace units and we type in, hit millimeters. And I say, okay. So now that's ready to rock. And I told you I started with like making this base plate first. So that's going to be in the top view. So I'm going to start a new sketch on my top view. And I'm going to get my camera set looking at it the way I need to. And then what I did, which might be, you know, some people might not agree with this, but this is how I did it. I went with a center point rectangle, started on that center point, and I made a rectangle. And then I got my dimension tool out, and I know, looking over here at the drawing, that the total width of this part here is 50. So I set this to 50. And then I know, looking over here at my front view, that the total length of the part is 60. Oops. I know that the total length of my part is 60. So I type that in. And then now I know also I've got kind of an L shape that comes in here like this. And if I get my dimension tool out again, I know the distance from here to here as 20. And I know the distance from here to here, it looks like as 30. Now I can get my trim tool, remove the chunks I don't need. And now I can get my fillet tool and I can start to put these two fillets on. If we look at the drawing, we've got one fillet over here and we've got one fillet over here. So that's going to be a fillet here and a fillet here. So to make that fillet, I click on one line, click on the other, pops up. This is where you might have to click on this R10 that just appeared. I double clicked on it, and then this is where I would type in what size I'm working with. So the last fillet I made in a previous drawing was 10, so it's already set to 10. So I hit enter, and I could type in 10, and I hit enter. And so now I'm grabbing my fillet tool. I got my fillet tool still, and we're going to put a fillet right here. It's still set to 10 because that was my last one. I'm going to hit enter, I'm going to hit enter, and now we've got two fillets both set to 10. And since I did them at the same time, if I was to double click on this fillet here and change the size of it, it would automatically change this one to be the same size. So now I'm going to set this to isometric. We're going to extrude this up. And looking at our drawing, we're going to extrude it up 10. So I set my depth to 10, hit enter, and there we go. So we've got the base. Now we're going to move on to, if you look at the isometric of the drawing sketch, we're going to move on to creating the chunk of material we need to make these side pieces. All right, and then eventually we'll cut them out. So I'm going to start a sketch on top of what I just drew. You get myself looking straight down at that. And now we're going to draw this out. And I'm just going to use simple old line tool for this one. And I'm just coming in here, I'm drawing the rough profile of the thing I'm trying to create. Make sure you're make sure you draw this line across the back side too, because you've got to create a closed shape. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to extrude this thing up later on. So now I got that shape in. We got to add some information to that. Looking at the end view, it would appear that the width of these rectangles we just drew, the width of this L shape is going to be 50 or 10. Sorry, not 50. Wow, that's totally wrong. It's going to be 10. So I type in 10, and then this end also going to be 10, and voila, it's ready to go. So we're setting ourselves to isometric, and we're going to extrude this up as well. Now, if I look over here at my drawing, specifically at the end view is doing a great job of telling me what the highest point on my part is. It says it's 50. The thing you need to make sure you're paying attention to is it's 50 from the bottom to the top. Right now, on my part that we're making, we're measuring from the top of this piece that we have already. to wherever it's going to go. So we basically have to do 50 minus however thick this is. And so we already know that this has a thickness of 10. So we're going to do 50 minus 10, and that's going to give us 40. So I'm going to type in 40 for here. And I'm going to say, okay. And so now we've got to chop parts of this back wall off to make it start looking like our isometric. To do that, I'm going to get a little weird. I'm going to flip this around. Oh, I'm not liking the direction I'm going for that. I'm going to flip this around until I'm at this back side here. And this is where I'm going to start my new sketch. And I'm going to go view normal to, come on, there it is. So now I'm looking straight on at this. This is where things get a little difficult. And this is where maybe being able to see things inside your head helps a little bit, okay? As crazy as that sounds. Basically, we're going to draw the profile we see here in the front view onto this, but backwards. And so what that's going to look like is it's going to look something like this. We're going to have a piece that comes over a certain amount. It's then going to come down probably somewhere around here, come over this way a bit, and it's going to come up like this, and it's going to come straight over like this. And then because we want to be cutting out this area here, instead of me going down and around, I'm going to go up. And because I'm silly, I accidentally drew a line that I don't need, so I'm going to get rid of that. So now I'm going to start adding my dimensions to this. And hopefully I didn't lose you folks on this one. Again, this is where things make it a little silly, you know. We know looking at the front view that the distance between here and the top of that part that's on the other side of this is going to be 10. Now, I can't dimension off of that, so I'm going to have to do what the distance is going to be from the bottom, and I know that's going to be 20. So that goes up like that. We know looking at the front view as well that this little tower here has a width of 10. So I'm going to plug that information in. We also know, looking at the drawing, that the distance across here is going to be 30. And we know that the distance from here to here is going to be 30. And so with all those measurements, we should be ready to rock. So again, I'm going to go switch myself back to isometric. I'm going to hit extrude, I'm hitting remove, and I'm saying through all, because I want it to cut through everything that gets in its way. I'm going to say okay. And now we've got something that's looking pretty close to the original, to our target image, all right? So before I add that fillet, I'm going to cut the slope into this face here. So I'm going to go right click on it and go to new sketch, right click on it again, view normal to. And now all I know, oh, there's the bell. All I know, which isn't much, is that this slope is going to start here and it's going to go down to here. So I draw that in, make it a closed shape, set myself back to isometric. Now we're going to cut that off. And we're going to hit remove. Again, we're just going to say through all again. And I'm going to say okay. Now we're almost done. So I showed you how to use the fillet tool while in the sketch window. Now we're going to use the fillet window when we're in like the modeling window. Okay, and that's the toolbar that we've got active right now. You know, this is the model toolbar that allows us to make like extrusions and other shapes. And so I'm going to go down here to where it says fillet. And I'm going to say, okay, I need my fillet. We know our fillet's going to be 10. We know we want the shape to be circular. And I'm just going to click on that little corner there because that's the part that needs to be filleted, and I'm gonna say okay. And just like that, in no time at all, you've created practice 5. All right. So again, hopefully this video was helpful. You know, remember you can always pause these videos, rewind these videos, skip them as you need. That's what's kind of so great about them, is they really allow you to move at your own pace. But one of the things I recommend to anybody watching these videos as you move forward in these video series is try to start creating these parts based off of that image I displayed at the beginning of the video, right? See if you can create it on your own and then watch how I do it and see if that was better. Again, I'm somebody who has a lot of experience with CAD software. I've been teaching it for 5 years, but I'm not necessarily, you could say, a professional, okay? Like, I don't completely know the ins and outs of this software yet. You know, I'm getting there, I would think, but I'm definitely not at the same level as somebody who's using this every hour of every workday, producing items, objects, whatever. I'm just somebody who uses it every now and again. So I'm getting there, but and hopefully you're getting there too. And we'll see how things go. So have a great rest of your day. Hopefully the other videos are helping you out too, and take it easy.